Okay, so what happened last night on Monday Night Football did indeed happen. Didn't feel like it in the moment, but I slept on it. Not long, but I slept on it. And I woke up and I realized indeed I was not dreaming. This dream that I had been living for 6 months has indeed become a nightmare. The worst sports moment, certainly of my lifetime, happened, and Aaron Rodgers, 4 plays into his Jets career, tore his Achilles tendon, potentially ending his career, but certainly ending his season. And that is enough of a disaster considering the talent on this roster and their Super Bowl aspirations. And so I found it fitting that I do a podcast with my father, who is certainly the biggest Jet fan in my life, and I suspect that I am the biggest in his. We talked about it all, what just happened, how we feel, and where we're going. So here's a very somber Jet podcast with my father. Enjoy it. So how you feeling?
I'm feeling, I believe I'm feeling the way that I expect Jet fans to feel most of the time, which is you go in with a lot of hope, anticipation, and then someone says, you know what, all that encouraging signs and it seems that we've done everything right since we converted to 3rd and 10 that cost us a shot at Trevor. Since that moment, and of course, the mistake at the drafting Zach and number 2, but since then, it seems like we've made every right move.
Mm-hmm.
Our drafts have been since that moment, since Zach being drafted.
Mm-hmm.
If we started the clock then and continued forward to this point now, they've made the correct draft picks. They've made very good free agent signings. Maybe Carl Lawson perhaps could be a disappointing signing. He hasn't really lived up to what they expected.
He's getting paid quite a bit.
And then the cherry on top is somehow,
yeah,
a non-Jet transaction happened. Somehow, we were able to trade or convince, or a combination of convince Aaron to say, I think I want to play football.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to play football with the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And even dealing with that issue, he's going to wreck your locker room. He's not a team player. He's a me first guy.
I got a lot of thoughts on this.
And he comes in
today.
And he embraces his position as leader, that it's not going to be simply me and I'm not worried about anyone else. That's their problem.
Mm-hmm.
He becomes like a mentor, coach, I said at least coordinator.
Coach, player, GM.
And how the players gravitate to him to the point where they absolutely adore him.
To the point where last night, you're playing one of the better teams in football, supposedly. We'll see how that shakes out by the end of the season. But certainly coming into the game, you're saying this is one of the premier teams in football. And you have the most devastating injury, maybe in the history of the sport, never mind in the history of the franchise, potentially in the history of the sport. It's close. And they still rally back. They don't give up. The coach doesn't give up. Young, inexperienced kids who you would not blame last night for giving up after what happened in the first quarter happened. You wouldn't blame them. And they rallied back, knowing full well their quarterback was done for the year. They rallied back against one of the better teams in football and had like a signature statement win last night. So it's like even that shows you what Aaron has done to this locker room. A culture that has been infected by...
But that's still a culmination of the Jets doing things right before he got there.
That's true.
Because these are the kind of players that want to be led.
Mm-hmm.
They are team first players.
They're great kids.
And
such good
so
kids.
you have to give the organization credit for bringing in this core, this crop of kids that were ready to be led and believed.
Garrett's a great kid.
So
Brees is a great kid.
it just seems like the Jets, usually all of their mistakes are self-inflicted.
Sure.
Usually. That's been but then every now and then, even when they get things right,
yes,
they got the right coach. In the 90s, they got Parcells. They got the right coach.
Yeah, they got the coach.
He got the roster together that he wanted, and they were on the precipice of something big. And then Vinny Testaverde, he got the same injury. Week 1.
Spookily so.
Week 1 of 1999, I believe.
Spooky. I was 4 years old.
So it just seems like because they've made so many mistakes in the last 50 years and they're in debt that they didn't have enough credit or enough assets in the bank to take this to the house. So in other words, they could afford the Ferrari, because usually they're on a Ford budget. They could afford the Ferrari, but they ran out of money. They couldn't drive it off the lot. That's what it feels like. Whenever they didn't have enough goodwill over the last 50 years because they made so many mistakes. I believe last time we spoke about the Jets, I even suggested that the other owners would contract the franchise because they were
just relegate them
just
like
because
European soccer style.
They're just not even. Spare me all the pain and suffering and the false advertising year after year after year. So they recovered from that 3rd and 10 conversion by Sam. They recovered.
Yeah.
To bring us to a point where we began to believe that we had, but Jet fans don't get that.
Right.
The 49ers, it's not, one Hall of Famer is not enough. You got to follow up with another Hall of Fame quarterback. It's like certain franchises, it's not you go Brett Favre, do you have 10 years of wilderness? No, let's go to Aaron Rodgers.
And the Packers, by the way, if Jordan Love doesn't pan out, they're going to whine about it. And it's like, you have no idea the pain. You just don't know the pain.
You don't know if that being
you don't know
in
what
the
pain
abyss.
is.
No.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You don't know. And then what happened last night is just another shot. Is it the worst of all time? In the moment, it feels like it. It'll take some time to look back.
Right.
Because you really got to see how this now.
What was it? What was it like for you in '99 specifically? Like, I was 4, right? Do you remember the day?
It was against the Patriots.
What was your mindset that day?
And this is before the dynasty. And I hated them then.
Sure, right.
Sadness. Again, it's almost like I deserved this. So I wasn't really angry. So a part of every Jet fan feels that they deserve bad news.
Right. Yeah.
But then we deserve to be punished.
Sure.
Because somehow we robbed Super Bowl III with Joe Namath. That somehow we got, it's almost like.
Is that what it is?
It just seems like we got far too much credit for simply winning a Super Bowl. It was like the special Super Bowl. It was the Super Bowl that merged the leagues. It changed football. It made football bigger than it was before. It had a star that they can promote, a charismatic. He was too charismatic for his own good. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like it was. We overindulged in that, and now
we're paying the piper.
They're paying the piper.
Yeah.
We couldn't win quietly. No, we had to win with flash. The greatest upset of all time, still to this day, greatest upset of all time. The guarantee, the women around them, the movie star. I mean,
Broadway Joe.
We had to
in the greatest city in the world.
We had to pay for the greatest Broadway show of all time.
Right,
and we're still paying it today. We still haven't. Maybe I don't know in my lifetime if we'll ever pay it off. But just seems like it just felt the sadness that I felt then. I feel, well, again, only time will tell if this will matches or exceeds depending on what happens to Aaron Rodgers going forward.
Sure.
And how we handle this. And
it certainly has the potential to be
the worst,
the most
single
devastating
moment,
maybe in all of sports, or in all of the sport of football.
Like even in my lifetime,
Yeah.
just sports in general.
Yeah, I mean, you had 04 with the Yankees. You had Mariano,
What did you forget?
right? I mean, like,
01 with the Yankees. Bomb in the ninth, Game 7. We're up one. Mariano's on, and we.
What was the playing game against the Red Sox? What year was that? 78.
The playing game, which to this day is the most high. It was the greatest anxiety day of my life.
Yeah.
Again, I'm 18.
Yeah.
Very impactful, but that's my world at the time.
Sure.
So yes, in terms of high drama, but in terms of pain and suffering, 2001, the Yankees, pain, suffering. The 99, the 98, the AFC, the conference championship game against the Broncos, up to nothing in mile high.
Sure.
Vinny's outplaying John.
Yeah.
We're outplaying them 10-0. We turn the ball over. Two of the most ball safety players in the history of our franchise.
Yeah.
Fumble. We have a great coach, and then they win. I mean,
yeah. 2 AFC championship games with Sanchez.
At least,
but at least it didn't feel like they were supposed to be there, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
We because we had to go on the road. There was wild card.
Sure. You beat the Pats already. You kind of had a signature win. Right?
Yeah, that was kind of our Super Bowl.
Right.
So it just, as sad as I feel as if I've deserved the sadness. As a Jet fan, I deserve pain and suffering, and disappointment.
Yeah,
this
is a little different.
Oh,
though.
this is so
different. It's not the same.
It's still in the same.
I can live.
It's still in the same family. It's still.
Is it?
It's still.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
still pain, right?
It's
pain
still
is pain, I guess. But yeah.
I got shot in the leg. It doesn't hurt as bad as getting stabbed in the leg.
Yeah.
Right, maybe
it's one thing if the gunshot wound is self-inflicted, though, right? That's one thing.
In the long run, do you remember though? It was painful that day.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a different feeling.
Would it have felt? I don't know. Better?
Listen,
how would have last time felt any better? And still lost.
I think there would have maybe been someone to blame had it had been some bad play calling at the goal line, had the O-line not have done their job, which a lot of people are criticizing the O-line.
They're criticizing now because
I don't know. He missed one block against a pretty good defensive front, and it happens. I mean, it's a football play. I thought they looked okay the rest of the night. I don't think they looked like it's a below average O-line. We know it's a below average, O-line. We know. I think I can deal with the Hard Knocks team was overhyped. Salah's not ready for the spotlight. Aaron wants Hackett to become the head coach. Maybe the arm isn't there anymore. I can live with that. I can throw things at the wall. I can blame Douglas. Let's fire the whole organization. Woody Johnson's one of the worst owners in sports. I can do that. I've done that. I've been doing that a little while now. I can do it again. I don't know if I can just do completely random,
because
potentially career ending. It's the word tragedy. You can't throw around the word tragedy. Yesterday the game happens on 9/11, and it's like let's keep in mind
what
let's keep it
tragedy
in context.
is.
Right.
What real tragedy is.
You can't use that word. But it doesn't. It's not the same pain that I've experienced now for a little over 10 years of Jets fandom. You've had 50.
Well,
so
I told you
really
how much scar tissue I have. So when you have scar tissue, you can absorb more pain, I believe. So not that I'm very proud of that, but. It's painful when you care about a team.
I really care about this team.
And I do too.
I care about them a lot.
And they drew me in to care more. I cared year after year. Even when Geno Smith was quarterback, I cared. When Mark Sanchez was quarterback, I cared. When
Pennington.
I always cared. And that's why it's painful. If I didn't care this much, it wouldn't be this painful. It's the caring. It's the commitment.
Yeah.
It's the devotion to it.
Yeah.
It's the following it.
Yeah.
It's almost blinders, believing in it.
No, I mean it's been since February for me. It's been an everyday grind. It's been like a part-time job, just every day. I'm analyzing every move, every free agent we didn't get. I'm looking at salary cap. I'm looking at like dead cap money.
Well, part of that analysis is because of the ineptitude of the franchise up to that point.
Sure.
So you're looking for any reason to this can't be happening.
That's right.
They're not disorganized. They really can't draft this well.
Right.
They're not making the right call on. They're passing on Derek Carr. They're passing on Jimmy G.
Right.
And they're going after Aaron. It's like I have to double check to make sure that they're actually doing this.
Right.
If this is a storied franchise,
sure,
you wouldn't even give it much thought. You wouldn't be going into the weeds of the numbers,
of course,
and how much money you have to cap.
If I'm a Niners fan and I'm just like, oh, you guys just drafted the most athletic players in the draft every year, and now you're the best team in football.
But if I'm a Patriots, do I care what the cap is?
I don't care how we got
I just care that Tom Brady's a quarterback.
That's right.
Is going to be okay.
That's right.
I don't care if Belichick blew up on the as he has many times on the draft.
Yeah.
Because we have Tom.
Right.
It doesn't matter if O-line can't really block or if we have Tom. It doesn't matter if we have no stud receivers. We have Tom.
Right.
So you go in, not call me week one.
Right.
But when you haven't had that success,
even when you get one of the 5 to 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time, and you're still skeptical.
You're still looking for
something's going to go wrong here. Yeah.
And you know what? Something did. So what does that make it? It reinforces everything I believe to the last 50 years, or everything I've endured to the last 50. You know how long it's been? I was 9. No, I wasn't even 9 years old yet. It was January of 69. I was 8 years old. 8 years of age.
We landed on the moon in 1969. Yeah.
I should have joined them instead of being a Jet fan. But so I fell in love with Joe Namath.
Yeah.
He was bigger than life. He was almost a cartoon character. He was bigger than Bugs Bunny to me. He was everything I was watching up to that point. He can't be real. This guy is not real.
Sure.
He's wearing white shoes. Everyone else is wearing high top black.
Right.
And he's wearing white.
Yeah.
He looked so cool, like an alien. It didn't belong. Who's this guy playing a game of football? He doesn't look like everyone else. He's got long hair coming out of his back of his helmet.
Yeah. Right. And he's so handsome.
He's charismatic, cool.
Yeah. Does it matter what his QBR is? No. In 1969, it didn't. Right? It didn't matter. Yeah,
so
no, it's
put
bad.
me on this journey.
It's bad.
Put me on the
and
journey.
Here we are.
And hey, I've suffered pain with other franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Knicks haven't been too kind to me either.
Sure.
Over the last
you can kind
50
of
years.
You can kind of ignore the Knicks though. The Knicks you can kind of hide from. They're not nationally televised every week. It's like, there's no red zone. There's no NBA equivalent of red zone.
No, I mean,
you can kind of just ignore them.
Yeah, but also,
they got another Nova kid. That's cool. But you can just do that.
But they haven't had moments when the championship was at their grasp.
Sure, right. It can be sort of a passing curiosity, and it can kind of, and that's been the story of your Jets fandom. It kind of ebbs your Knicks fandom kind of ebbs and flows.
Right, and then I don't pay attention for 5 years, and then all of a sudden, okay, they're winning some games. I get excited, and you watch.
Yeah, tell me more about Jalen Brunson. Right. What a steal. Yeah.
But they haven't broken my heart.
Right.
They got knocked out by the Heat, but they haven't broken my heart yet.
Right.
Because the expectation has been there. The caring to that degree in that moment, to care the way I care about this team, and the way I care about this franchise.
Yeah.
I love this franchise.
I love these kids.
And now I love them even more because they're a great bunch of guys.
It's a great group.
They have heart.
It's a great group.
They have character. And these are star players. These are not marginal players with great character.
Yeah.
These are star players.
No ego.
No ego.
Yeah.
You can play them with anybody in the league. They're as good as anybody in the league.
Yeah. Right.
That's how good these kids are.
Yeah. So, and the coaching staff too. I don't know if Sulla can coach, but he's a good guy.
Well, he can lead men.
He's a good guy.
For life.
He's a player's coach and he's a leader.
Right.
Of
He's
men.
someone they can go to in life.
Yeah.
He's lived a lot of things too.
Yeah.
that he can draw from. He can comfort and lead
Right.
without being down. He looks at what is good in all these things.
Right.
So yeah, we don't know if he's an X and O guy, or
Sure.
we don't know that yet.
Yeah. But he's not spying on practices. He's
yes.
not kicking players.
Well, he's above that, isn't he?
not. Yeah.
You could tell.
No, I know.
He's a man of high character too.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
So the team reflects that.
Yeah.
The high character.
Right.
Right. Maybe it was, they're not tough enough. Well, I mean, they were tough last night against a tough opponent.
Yeah.
So I am filled with sadness.
I'm not angry.
No.
I'm not angry.
Again, I feel as if I deserve it a little bit. I feel as if, I'm hoping that changes in time, that I don't feel like I can reject it instead of accepting it. It's like I should be able to reject.
Sure.
Feeling.
Yeah, stand up to
right.
your abusive parents or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
It's like having that I'm in an abusive relationship.
Sure.
I deserve to be hit every once in a while.
Yeah. I feel bad for Aaron. I love Aaron.
Well,
I love Aaron. No, and
so far, nothing bad has happened aside because the injury.
Something pretty bad has happened.
His legacy has.
Yeah,
how people view him now. He's up to that point last night. He did everything right as well.
I'm starting to learn as I get older how careful you have to be putting too much stock in what people think about you. And I think with Aaron, I look at Aaron and I've rooted for him now for a decade. He's been my favorite player for a decade, which is why this whole thing feels like a dream and now like a nightmare. Like I didn't sleep last night just because this is my guy. I got the jersey. It's too good to be true. And
well, that's still born in the mentality that we don't deserve it.
Right.
But to say that it's too good to be true is saying that we don't deserve it.
Yeah. The last couple years with him, though, I feel particularly kind of protective. And maybe I'm just getting wrapped up in the Hard Knocks Hollywood story or whatever with him. And I don't know. I just feel like the media, Keith Olbermann tweeted something yesterday. Did you see what Keith Olbermann tweeted?
I heard that he got some backlash for it.
He made a little vaccine joke. He made a little jab about the vaccine.
But was the last night the night to bring that up?
I put a little thing on Twitter about it just because I'm like, how small of a person do you need to be to make a little unfunny jab? First of all, it's not funny. That's the first thing. It's a hacky, obvious. Everyone's making that joke.
He's revealed himself as being very vindictive anyway.
Sure. I shouldn't take the bait from a guy like that. No. But he wasn't the only one, though. He wasn't the only one. People were making their jabs, and it's the way the media's treated him the last couple years, Aaron specifically, with no real basis at all. Really. Completely lying about the guy. You cannot find one quote from a player, a former teammate of his, that's called him a vindictive player, a bad leader, a locker room poison. Everyone that's played with him loves him. Loves him.
Loves to play for him. Doesn't want to disappoint him.
Yeah.
Yes. So and that's really the true.
That's the measure of it.
Yes.
Everyone that goes into battle with him has his back and loves him. And he loves them. And you saw it this year. You got to see it a little more intimately because of the Hard Knocks thing or whatever. But every report has been universally positive. And it's this guy, he gave back $30 million because he wanted to win with this team. And people made fun of, he went to the darkness retreat. He's kind of a quirky guy. He's taking psychedelics or whatever. He's not married. He doesn't have kids. He's got a weird relationship with his brother or whatever. His brother who likes to air the dirty laundry on The Bachelor, but for the record, whatever.
I don't think I don't follow The Bachelor.
Yeah. And it's all this weird stuff. And it's this is a guy that is searching in life. You know what I mean? He's unsure. He has the humility to kind of be unsure and he's trying to grow. And he's mulled retirement, whatever. And he went into the darkness retreat and they mocked him. People that are miserable in their own lives and lack direction, but are not honest enough to admit it, right? And he comes out and he says, I want to be a Jet.
Well, isn't part of that is extreme jealousy for?
Of course it is.
Here's
of course
a man who's at the highest level of his profession.
Yeah.
Highly intelligent.
Right.
Highly aware of the world around him.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Right.
A mentality.
Introspective.
Yes.
So
a mental makeup.
And most of these writers and media people, they're morons.
Sure.
They have no depth.
Yes.
All they're looking
are bad at what they do. Never mind
because
like bad at life.
Any story,
just
if you're up, we got to knock you down because we need the story.
Sure. Because you don't know anything about football or you don't know anything about life.
Life, really.
And your inability to do your job well leads to you lashing out at the people that you write about, right? And like the guy just gave back $30 million and he's like, I want to win with this team. And it's like, that's money he earned. Like he was a 2-time MVP late in his 30s. He earned that money. He could have easily been traded to the Jets, half-assed it, cashed the check, rode off in the sunset still as a first ballot Hall of Famer. And he's like, I want to do something great. I want to change a culture. I want to change a city. I want to lead young men, talented young men that are in desperate need of leadership or whatever. And, like I'm thinking about it today. It's just like I'm sad. I'm really sad, but it's like he can take that with him now. You know what I mean? And Keith Olbermann or all of these guys, you can't take that with you.
No one's going to remember Keith Olbermann in 50 years.
Yeah.
People are still going to remember Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. So I'm at peace today. I guess on a football level, I don't know if I'll ever recover from it. As on a football level, I don't think I'll ever recover from what this team could have been. It might be one of the great what ifs in all of sports. We don't know. But like on a personal level, I'm like, this guy like.
Well, I mean, he definitely changed the perception, or maybe gave a more truthful presentation of who he is.
Yes. Or maybe changed who he was.
Or even if he changed.
Yeah.
Either way, no matter if he changed, that's even a greater accomplishment. Or that he transformed. And maybe it is true that he was a little aloof.
Yes.
Not more than he was. I don't think he intentionally. He's just not a rah-rah guy and I want you to be your best player you can be.
Yeah.
That type of guy.
Right.
So if he had some self-awareness and he wanted to be that, kudos to him for that too.
Sure.
It's all good.
Right.
It's all good.
Yeah.
The long-term question is he willing to come back from this type of injury? Will he say to himself, it's still worth rehabbing, going through all I need to go through to be back again here next year at the same time?
Yeah.
Is it worth it for him?
Yeah.
And if it is, even that sparks hope again. Because as a Jet fan, I'll hold on to that and endure another what if year, right? Endure, but still enjoy all these kids because they're so young, and they still are going to be together for another couple of years. I think, right? They're all on their.
I can't even think about it. Like I don't even know what it looks like.
But you have to, right? Because otherwise, you're stuck here. I don't want to be stuck here. I feel bad. I'm sad. Happened last night. The wound is still fresh. Part of me kind of says I deserve it, right? Which is okay.
I don't know. But I don't know what you do.
But at the same time,
I don't know.
At the same time, I can't stay here. I have to gravitate to something hopeful. Otherwise, what am I doing? Right? I can endure pain if I'm always looking for hope. Right? Hope is the key. I'm hopeful that he's still motivated to come back.
I'm sure he's motivated. I just don't know if his body's going to allow him. I just don't know. Like it's the worst injury. Like it's the worst injury.
If he can't, then he can't. And then we accept it.
Yeah.
And we close the book and we move on. But I can't be stuck. The problem is whenever something, again, let's put it in context. Traumatic
I feel traumatized.
It's a sporting event. Okay.
I know.
Right.
You have to. Yes.
Right.
I know.
I'm a fan.
I know.
I love them.
I know.
I live up and down emotionally with them. When they win, I feel great the whole week.
I'm trying to put it into context.
I am.
I've been trying to. It's been less than 24 hours, so I'm not there yet, but I'm trying.
Right.
I'm trying to. Yeah.
Right. And whatever disappointment you ever endure, okay. I'm not saying you ignore it. You're certainly to a point. I almost have to embrace it. It's real. I feel awful, and it's okay to feel awful for a certain period of time. I don't have to say, "Oh, it's gonna be okay." No, it's not okay right now. I feel awful. Feel awful. Feel sad. Feel it. But then you need to let it go. We let it go and move forward. You want to talk about it in 20 years? Of course, I'm going to talk about it when I'm in my 80s. I'll always talk about the year that we had the best team. Or at least I thought we had the best team.
They looked so good last night. They looked so good last night. It was like...
But it
would have been the story of the weekend. It would have, the Niners look great and the Cowboys look great, but the story of the weekend would have been the hype is real. The offense is actually pretty good.
Pretty good. The defense is...
Breece Hall is not 100% healthy, and he had 150 yards rushing on 10 carries. That would have been the story. Garrett Wilson is a budding superstar.
Yes.
The pass rush is legit. Quinnen Williams is one of the best defensive players in the game.
Yes. All that still remains. That hasn't changed. Right?
Yeah.
I know our ceiling now is no longer, right? We have a ceiling now.
Yeah.
Right? We're limited at how far we can go. We're not certainly an average team. Even with below average quarterback play, I don't think we. But
below average is the word you're going to use?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Below average?
I don't know.
I think they're rolling with him.
Well, maybe they asked Aaron his opinion. I don't know. What do you think about the kid? I don't know. It seems like he has a lot of input. I wouldn't be surprised. I know last night probably he wasn't thinking about last night because he's probably bummed out himself. I'm sure he's.
They asked him what they thought of the kid.
I don't know. Well, maybe not specifically last night.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe earlier all during camp. I'm sure he's had tremendous input as to what the kid can do, what he can't do, what he'll never do. I'm sure he has. I think he has say in that building about the. Always he and how do you get it? Taking back $30 million, I think, gives you say.
Right. Yeah, it's beyond devastating.
Matter,
it's just like beyond devastating.
It doesn't really matter. Bottom line, this morning,
what?
I feel like a typical Jet fan. So you can dress it up all we can. You can it's this and that and Hard Knocks and we had this Hall of Fame this and great talent. I'm still today, September 12th, 2023. 54 years. It's 54 years removed. 55 years.
I'm
removed.
sick. I'm just sick.
And I'm sick. Feel like I felt in 1999, 2010, 1986. Still the same feeling. Sure, is it worse? Maybe, yeah, sure. But still.
If Aaron Rodgers never plays a snap again, it's worse.
If it never plays again, yes.
Yeah. So
you really until his tenure ends, which it might have ended last night. Until it ends, where he says, "No, my body won't hold up. I don't want to."
Yeah. God, he comes out with the American flag. The American flag on 9/11. Towers, the beams of the towers in the background, the crowd. I've never seen MetLife.
Everything
like that,
was right.
Ever. I've never
They've
seen
done
MetLife
everything
like that.
right for the last 3 years. Everything right for a franchise that always did everything.
They didn't pick the
wrong.
right turf. How about that?
Maybe that's
there's a mistake. There's a mistake. We were talking about it earlier. Like there's evidence that the rubber used in artificial turf might be a carcinogen.
Wonderful.
Might be linked to cancer. And there's these, like, I think Brazilian or Portuguese soccer players, 6 of them died. And they suspect that it's because of exposure to this chemical.
Right.
Also, like the average, I think 16%. Yeah, it increases your risk of injury by 16% playing on turf versus playing on grass.
So the World Cup is coming here in 2026.
Yeah.
That corrupt.
Sure. As corrupt as it gets, really.
FIFA, whatever you want to call it, FIFA, I don't know what the organization is, but it is the most corrupt of any sports organization.
Yeah.
Right? If not the most, it's at least as.
Sure.
They somehow demanded or is making some of the NFL stadium fields be changed to grass.
Yes.
To host. So they're more caring of their own, again, the least, most corrupt that you'll find in the world.
Yes.
Can find 1% of humanitarian, some caring of their players.
Yeah.
That insist, because I'm sure it wasn't the NFL's idea to convert these stadiums to grass.
Oh, certainly not. Yeah. Just every dollar. So we have to squeeze every.
So in order, I'm sure part of the deal, in order to host.
Yeah.
Right. On top of also,
I think the women's women's World Cup games. I think it was already banned. The artificial turf was already banned. I don't know if it was because of the cancer element, but certainly the injury element. I don't think it's a
and the NFL they print money.
Yeah,
they have their own plates.
Yeah,
they don't even have to go to a bank.
Sure.
They in their cellars in the deepest part of headquarters.
Yeah,
they have a printing press and they just print as much as they want.
Yeah,
that's how much cash they're getting, and growing. Right? Can we care a little bit about our players? A little bit about our players,
right?
And so they're always playing hardball.
Yeah.
The owners are out.
And meanwhile, you have a union too that voices these concerns, but does nothing really about it. When was the last lockout? When was that? 15 years ago? What year was that? The lockout?
87?
No, there was another one looming more recently. I don't know if it ever. I don't think it affected any games.
No.
But it's like set out some games.
So why can't we? Yeah. Oh, because it cut into our bottom line. Because that's the owners. When I say it's NFL, it's the owners.
Yeah.
The NFL represents the owners.
Right.
The owners want every dollar.
Yeah.
Right. Because we can have more events.
Yeah.
In our stadium, we can destroy high school kids too.
Oh,
that play,
of course.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
of course.
Because if you have grass,
all the high school fields are converting too. Yeah. They're all converting.
So,
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's like, again, like I don't feel like particularly angry in any direction because it's still like a fluky thing, but that is one thing that's kind of sticking in my craw.
I'm sad, like a breakup.
I'm
sad.
I'm really sad.
Things are going great. I was anticipating maybe engagement.
It's so
we're getting serious.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that we're getting serious.
Right. We're looking at houses. We got a dog together.
Well, that would really be, that might have made me depressed. But follow me here. I know you jumped ahead with the dog. Yeah, that would make me depressed. That would have been my sign. What am I doing here? We're not getting a dog.
There's your red flag.
That for me,
you're one to talk. You got one.
20.
You got one.
Yeah, after.
Sure.
After. Not before.
Yeah.
Right. So, because what happens if what happened last night happens? It's like, who gets a dog? I mean, that's with the dog. I mean,
custody.
Come on.
You can do custody visits. Yeah, you get weekends every other weekend.
No wonder you can keep it.
Yeah.
But so again, each day I'm gonna feel a little bit better. Each day,
right?
I don't know how many days it'll take.
Mm-hmm.
you're going away for a while, which is nice because
I am leaving for Toronto in 8 hours.
You have a diversion. You think about great stuff.
Yes.
Be right.
I'm very excited.
I have to sit here in it every day.
Right. I'm putting in waiver claims for my fantasy teams tonight.
Okay.
And I am setting my lineups, and I am not thinking about it for the rest of the week. I'm not going to even check the scores. And I am considering.
You could do that because of where you're going.
I am.
If you were here.
Yes.
It'd be hard.
I'm considering just hanging it up for the year, to be honest. I'm thinking about it.
That was my first thought last night.
I'm thinking about it.
I was so distraught.
Which is not.
I just wanted.
Ever something I actually toyed with. I did not think I would ever get to the point where I'm maybe passing off my fantasy team for a year and not doing the picks pools and just not watching and just apple picking every Sunday. But I'm kind of here.
Does the choice have to be apple picking?
No, I mean, peaches are in season too. No. Some county fairs. It's fair season pretty soon. Hog measuring contests and stuff. Sit on some hay bales, take some hay rides. We could do it.
You know what?
If Aaron Rodgers is capable of change, aren't we? You know?
I think I'd rather endure the pain of a Sunday than
I think you'd rather rupture your own Achilles.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a fair statement. I'm incapable of going to any fair for the next year. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll laugh. I guess one day we'll laugh about it.
It'll be a long time before we laugh.
We'll laugh. I wasn't laughing last night.
No,
as comical it was in so many ways comical, just because it is the Jets, but it's just very, very, very sad. It's very sad. The guy at 39 years old. Trust me, only happened. I think I saw the list. Yeah. It's like 4 or 5 quarterbacks. It's
it's a very unusual injury.
Yeah, Dilfer and Marino and I'm forget. It's a very short list. And Vinny, of course. Week 3. 1. Yeah, there might have been a couple other lower profile players, but I mean, he's certainly.
But not. It's one thing if it happened to you during the course of a career.
Sure.
And it just happened to be one of those seasons that maybe they weren't going to compete anyway.
Yeah.
But when...
Or even so. Even if they did have Super Bowl aspirations and he was 32. Right.
It's the expectation.
Yeah. And it's win now mode,
and it was ratcheted up.
Yeah. It was... I mean, we were so nervous last night. I mean, we were pacing. We were watching pregame and like heavy breathing. Like, it was bad. It was really bad.
I watched Hard Knocks. I couldn't watch anymore.
No, I mean, we were like, it was a tough scene last night, and then it happens on play number 4, and it's like he sits down, and like you knew immediately as he's sitting down. He knew
because if it was something like a sprain, he would have gotten up and try to walk it off, and then call the trainer, walk it off. I'm okay, and they come on anyway. He never said that. He just sat down. He just knew.
Yeah. It's going to be really emotional if they do anything this year. I don't think they are. I doubt that they are. But if they do anything, yeah.
If they have a good season, with whoever's quarterbacking,
sure, with Jacoby Brissett or Carson Wentz or whoever it is,
made the playoffs and played a wild card weekend,
and Aaron's there with a clipboard on the sideline.
Wouldn't that be house money? Wouldn't that be if that team, as constructed with?
I'm just sick of being the Cinderella story, I guess.
Well, it'd be.
I'm just sick. I'm a little sick of it.
No, but Cinderella implies they overachieved.
Right.
Right.
It wouldn't be an overachievement if we made the playoffs at this point?
Not if this team.
You don't think so?
But if the team actually beat people, I mean, week after week, we beat people.
Yeah.
In the NFL, you can't play with mirrors. I mean, either your defense can stop people or they can't.
Right.
You can't fake that.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you can have a soft schedule. Right. If they have a soft schedule.
Yeah. I mean, they do towards the end of the year. It softens up towards the end.
Yeah, but it could always the year might be over by then
in 3 weeks.
Right.
I mean, it's very conceivable the next 3 games. I mean, they're losing to the Cowboys. They're going to get smoked by the Cowboys.
How would it change your perspective if they won?
It would change it quite a bit.
Right? I don't expect them to win.
It would change it quite a bit.
I'm just saying what still could be possible that would completely flip.
I don't know if it would completely flip it because I don't think Zach Wilson is capable of.
We said
putting up
anybody.
Yes.
I'm not saying him, whoever.
Well, I mean, this week it would be Zach, right? I mean, it would be Zach this week. I mean, could we win with? I mean, we had 4 turnovers yesterday. I mean, Josh Allen was terrible yesterday. I mean, he was really bad. We're not going to have 4 turnovers.
Let's say,
yeah.
Let's lay this out.
Okay.
Of course, we'll need help from Dallas. There's no doubt. We just can't play them straight, right? Let's say we got a little help. Let's say we got our defense
a fumble or 2. How many turnovers? I mean, how many would we need?
They were +3 yesterday.
Yes.
Right. So you got to need at least be +2.
Sure.
But they were +3. Plus they got a special teams punt return.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right. So they're going to need something very similar to that.
Yeah.
Special teams play being good. No turnovers by Zach. Get a couple of turnovers of our own that we can punch in. Our running game, ball control running game, because they have a pass rush. So I think
you have to run it. It sucks that you have to get Brees this many carries, and maybe they won't. But
no, they won't because they'll mix it up. They'll have
but I mean, the running backs need to get 35 carries. Like they have to get a lot of carries.
I can definitely see him doing that. I mean, certainly he can't go out there and throw 40 passes. He's going to get killed.
Yeah, right. If they won, I mean, I don't know. I don't imagine a scenario in which they win that I feel good about their playoff chances.
I mean, what's the line? 7.5.
It's 8.5, I think now.
No, it's okay. So the heavy money's coming in.
Sure.
So by game time,
I think they're going to get. I think they're going to get killed. Unless something fluky happens. Which am I supposed to take something away from flukiness?
No, I want them to win fluky. I want them to win
I don't see a scenario where they don't. Zach Wilson's bad. Zach Wilson's really bad.
But you can't make him really sabotage the game then.
Yeah, no, I know.
And they can run the ball enough. I mean, Brees should have had 95-yard touchdown run. Really, he should have.
Yeah,
I mean, really.
Well, I know. No, but the ACL isn't going to heal up in 6 days.
But he's capable of big plays.
Sure.
That's not the first big play he's had.
No, I know.
He's capable of that.
Yeah.
In his short career already. We've seen that.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with Zach.
So, Kirk, pipe dream, right?
I guess you make phone calls, I guess.
Brady, it's not happening.
If you're Joey, make phone calls. You call everybody.
Brady's not happening.
I don't think Brady can make it happen. I mean, he just pledged. He just pledged his allegiance back to the Patriots. You can't give that speech and then I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like he defected. Yeah,
put it on hold. I'll be back. That'd be a slap.
Yeah, it's like Steven Seagal like getting Russian citizenship or whatever.
Right. He would. I mean, he would not do that to Robert Kraft. I don't think he would do that.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Right. I mean, he doesn't care about Belichick. It's Robert Kraft. He's going in business. Robert Kraft.
Sure.
You know, Belichick will be long.
He also owns the Raiders too.
Right. So
he's a partial owner. I think
he's transitioned.
Yeah.
Into, right. And he maybe because he hasn't taken his Fox position as broadcasting. There's a window there. They're saying maybe there's a window.
Yeah.
That he's not fully retired with that. But it's the wrong franchise. Maybe the 49ers, Raiders, I mean,
right.
Tennessee.
Sure.
I mean, would you be shocked if Tennessee called them? Because
I don't think Tennessee's really thinking that way.
I mean, do we call Tannehill? Do we call them for Tannehill?
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure.
Of course you call about Tannehill. I don't think that's happening. And I don't think it works for us either.
No, I think
unless Aaron were to announce next week,
if I'm the Rams,
I'm done.
I think now I can get Stafford healthy for another run.
Sure.
Another run.
Sure.
Right? One more run.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
so I don't think that happens. I think Kirk, I mean, it's an expiring deal. He probably walks in free agency anyway.
I would love to see the Eagles spank them Thursday. Just to push him along.
Just to see, you know. And maybe they get in the Caleb sweepstakes. They're not that bad is the problem. But I don't imagine he's coming back. I think they probably would have extended him by now. They definitely have their eyes set somewhere, whether it's Kyler or whatever it is.
Because you have to pay him like $50 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Next, I mean, he's betting himself, and he's hit it every time.
He has, yeah.
Right? 1 year deals, then franchise deal, a couple franchises, big contract, $100 million. Another, I mean, he's made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
He's just good enough where no one can beat him out.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know.
Maybe. Otherwise, it's Nick Foles. It's Carson Wentz. It's Matt Ryan. It's Flacco.
Matt Ryan, who can't stand up.
I mean,
the stature, I can't have the stature.
You know, Flacco is at least going to be brought in. Well, he's getting brought in.
Well, someone's going to be brought in, right? There's not enough quarterbacks.
Sure.
Some veteran is being brought in.
Yeah.
To even back up.
Right. I don't know. Does Hackett have ties? Russell Wilson, I guess.
I'm sure they did.
Maybe Peyton wants to go with Stidham going forward. Maybe we pry Russell away. Mike White, can we make a trade for him? Can we bring him back? It's a disaster. I mean, there's just no way around it. It's just an absolute disaster.
You can't pivot in football once you start.
Yeah, well,
when you start the season. No, once you start the season.
When you start the season, right?
Yeah, not the off season.
Yes.
Once you start
plans
the season,
can change very quickly in the off season.
Other sports, maybe even basketball is hard to pivot. Like baseball, you could pivot and try to do some things.
Yeah.
Right, because you have so many games.
Well,
I don't feel any better. I thought that I would after this conversation with you. And that seems to be the case most times that we have. I
feel a little.
You feel a little better?
I'm starting.
You shouldn't feel better?
I'm starting. Because I took it very personally last night. I was actually very emotional and fragile last night in a way that I don't think I was prepared for. And that's just, again, it's me kind of blowing up what is a silly game in my head. But it's like you just...
Well, I don't think it's an isolated situation. I don't think you're the only person in
definitely
Jet fandom.
Not. But sometimes you have to take a step back and it's like, what are we doing here? But
well, yeah, of course. Well, we know going in, we've already spent far too much time, invested far too much time.
Yeah.
And far too much emotion.
Right.
In sports in general. It's too important. It's almost too important.
I took this one a little personally. I took it personally.
Because you love Aaron.
I love Aaron. It doesn't feel fair. But life isn't fair, right?
Life is not fair.
Life isn't fair.
You'll discover that. And last night, just another point that don't ever forget it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have happened. It's unfair to happen. No one deserved it to happen. But that's life. And life, and part about living life is dealing more with that than it is this paved road that you just drive nicely at 60 miles an hour all the way through. No, there's potholes and there's bad weather and there's darkness and there's lightning and then it snows and you drive off the road and the road sometimes is not even paved. That is life.
Yeah.
That's life. And I love the fact that it hurts when a team like the Jets, something happens like that, because I care enough. Because when something good happens, I feel great. I just feel excited for the whole week. It makes my week. I feel great. I know it's a stupid thing. It's sports. It's not that important in the scheme of things.
Yes.
But the more you're vested, the more you get out of it.
No, but I think that's my point, though. It's like it doesn't matter. But what Aaron did kind of does matter, though. What he did in the last 6 or 7 months, it does kind of matter. You know, it does matter that he decided, like,
well, yeah, certainly
he gave up $30 million.
Certainly, you know. But, I mean, we don't care really. We want him to play.
Yeah.
Right? The bottom line, you know, even if everything about what they said about him was true,
yeah,
it still hurt last night.
Selfishly, yeah,
it still hurt last night.
Yeah,
because on the football field, we have a chance to go all the way.
Yeah.
And we would have signed for it. He's surly. He's not a team player. He's not talking to the media.
Yeah.
But it looks great at training camp. He's making every throw. The offense is humming. Right? Sure. You wouldn't have cared. Attila the Hun could be quarterback.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Genghis Khan.
You're not wrong.
If he was quarterback and allowed to play with all the violent acts, but he could play, and he got hurt last night, you've been devastated.
That's right.
That's why we're sad. Because we believe that we could win. And go that and then attend that parade in the Canyon of Champions, whatever that is, that in Manhattan, where only the greats have gone on. Joe Louis went down. Joe Louis and Bobby Jones, when he won the Grand Slam, he had a parade. And I don't know how many other the Yankees have.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I got to come off it a bit then.
It was a football moment.
Yeah. Didn't feel
I don't care.
Didn't feel like it.
Oh.
Didn't feel like it for me. But I'm young and naive, right?
You're a romantic.
Yeah.
You wanted to. That's right. It was so beautiful.
It sure
was.
was.
It was so poetic how he.
It was so beautiful while it lasted.
Came in and with the flag. What kind of scene is that? If that doesn't inspire you, if that doesn't make you feel great to be an American.
I love the man.
That he comes out with the American flag.
How about the fans last night?
They're us. They're us. Maybe more so.
I talked to some people that went to the game too, and it was just like the atmosphere in there was nuts.
Electric. You can feel it coming from the TV screen.
Yeah. Okay, that's all.
Feel better?
No. We'll get there.
We'll
be okay.
We always get there.
Yeah.
And it's great to feel pain now and then. It makes you feel alive. It does. Pain, it does.
Yeah.
Every night I'm gonna say I won't sign up for pain.
Yeah.
It's like, give me pain.
Right.
Just that when you're going through it and then you realize, geez, it's okay because it shows how much I care. If I didn't care, then I'm not watching last night. Who cares? You want to care about something. Life's about caring about something.
Right.
So people, it's amazing. There's people I know who don't even know if there's a sporting event tonight or there's a game.
No, I think that's okay. I just, and that's fine. If you're not into it, you're not into it. But to not understand why we're into it, I think that's really what it is. You know, like whatever you enjoy in life, like as insignificant as it might feel, it's like.
Well, but in the overall scheme of things, everything is insignificant.
That's right.
Right?
That's
the
right.
Durham Fair is insignificant.
Sure.
The Big E is insignificant. Everything, really, it's
back
everything.
On your fair rant here.
Well, because I have a part in my heart as well. When you say, I take it personal. I just don't get it, but that's okay. But people do enjoy it. That's fine. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
As long as they care about it.
Okay. That's enough of that.
Still, go Jets.